really difficult to see your money just sitting there in that bank account and earning like 0.1% interest. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Verania, and on this channel I share all things about money, your career and creating success through a positive mindset. Today I want to talk about how I've been able to save over £1,000 every single month on a relatively low income. And the reason why I say it's a low income is because you may have seen in my previous video, I said that I was earning less than £30,000 a year. And now you're probably thinking, since I've paid that debt off, I'm probably earning double that, maybe even triple. But the truth is, my income hasn't really changed at all. Within the last 18 to 24 months, I have had one pay rise, and that was a 2% increase. And that increase was actually so my income would still continue to be in line with inflation. So I thought I would also do a bit of research on what the average UK salary actually is. And I found that if you're working full time, the average salary in the UK is about £37,000 and the median is about £30,000. So what I'm earning is actually less than that. And I also live in the southeast, which you could argue is one of the most expensive areas in the UK. So the fact that I'm earning less than that probably speaks volumes. And I think it also shows that what I'm sharing with you is actually more realistic than you think. I also don't currently have any side hustles or a second job, so how I've been able to save this money has purely come from my 9-to-5 income. But again, I think I've been able to achieve this purely from determination, consistency, and the fact that I've been building these habits as I go along. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to be sharing with you what I'm actually saving for, because I'm not saving just for the sake of saving. So the first thing I always do is I pay myself first every single month. Now this was a game changer for me, and I think it's really important because it's so simple and it's basically common sense, but you realize that not everyone follows this principle and hardly anyone ever does it. The majority of people tend to spend first, save later. And that is exactly what I used to do. I kept telling myself, as soon as I get paid, I'm probably gonna spend my money first, and then whatever is left, that's when I'll save it. And by the end of the month, I had no savings. And that kept happening every single month until I decided that I was gonna start paying myself first. So now every time I get paid, there are two things I do without question. The first one is I pay my tithes and charities. And that is because as a Christian, I always want to give a certain percentage to my tithes, and I also want to give to others as well. And then of course, the second thing is I pay myself first and it goes straight into a separate savings account. The reason why I did that is because I know myself, and if I saw a large amount of money in my current account that was just sitting there, I would be tempted to spend it, especially if it was getting to the end of the month and I overspent in some areas. So if you do have better self-control, then you can just have a savings account with your current account. However, if you do get tempted and you tend to spend a lot of money, it might be better for you to put that money in a separate savings account. And again, that savings account was online and it would take 1 working day if I wanted to withdraw money. So I really had to make an effort if I wanted to take money out of it. And a lot of the times I just couldn't be bothered. So that really helped me when I was trying to stop myself from using up my savings. You can also choose to automate your savings as well. So what you could actually do is set up a standing order, and whenever your bills come out, you can treat your savings like a bill as well. So as an example, if you get paid on the last day of the month, like the 30th or the 31st, on the first day of each month, part of your income will automatically move to a savings account. Now, I don't actually automate my savings. I like to physically move the money myself, but that's because I just enjoy doing that process. I have no idea why. I just love the budgeting process. I love sorting out what's going where. Whenever I get paid, that is the best day of the month, because then it means that I physically get to move it to the savings account, move everything else to the spending, and then make sure I've got the right amount in each category. But I'm pretty sure I'm probably a minority. So if you don't find that fun, then just automate everything. So the second thing that's really helped me is the fact that I've been able to pay off my debt. And I did mention this a lot in my last video, so if you haven't watched it, then I'll put a link in the description below. But what it essentially means is because I have no payments, I have money. You probably don't realize it, but once you've got rid of all those minimum payments, that actually starts to add up. So the minimum payment of my car was over £200 a month. And now the fact that I've been able to pay that off means that I can put that payment straight towards my savings. The one thing I would say though is if you've been able to pay off your debt, please, please, please do not just spend it. Really try and think about your goals and what you want to do with that money, because it doesn't make sense if you've put all of that hard work towards paying off your debt, and then as soon as it's paid off, you take a trip down to Prague because you realize that you have all of this extra money and you don't put it towards your future. So I would encourage you to really think about your goals before you start spending that money. If you do decide to save it, you will realize how much your savings will actually grow just because you don't have any payments anymore. I also made a lot of sacrifices when it came to housing and my overall expenses as well. Again, I did mention that in my previous video. But all of those things really helped me to accelerate my savings rate. So the third thing I did was pay for a lot of things yearly instead of monthly. And I think this is a really interesting one because it can feel so much easier when you know you just have payments every single month rather than having to try and save for something and then pay for the whole year. So as an example, I used to pay for my car insurance monthly instead of annually, but I didn't realize that even with car insurance, they can charge you interest on that as well. I remember when I was looking through quotes on car insurance, I remember seeing that I could actually end up paying double digits in interest just because I chose to pay monthly rather than yearly. So as soon as I realized, I decided I was going to pay for everything yearly. So that might include my car insurance, home insurance, road tax, road coverage, whatever it is, I try to pay it yearly. And even though some of those things might not necessarily charge interest, I think it just makes my life so much easier once I know that I've put money aside for it and I've just paid it off in the year, because then I can really just focus on my savings every month. So the last thing that really helps me to save this much every single month is having set goals. And the reason why I say that is because it can be really difficult to see your money just sitting there in that bank account and earning like 0.1% interest, especially when interest rates drop to basically zero. So it's really important that you know exactly what you're saving for. And it might not even be a big thing. It could be holidays, Christmas presents, or birthday presents, or you might be saving up for a car or your first house, for example. You might be even saving up to start your own business. But all I would say is when you have your vision, make sure you write it down. And also I think a good tip is to write down how long you think it will take you to achieve that goal. So whenever you feel like giving up or you're tempted to spend it, you can always go back to that goal. And I think it will help you realize why exactly you're saving and why you're having to make that sacrifice today. Even when I was trying to save money, when I was trying to pay off my debt, there were of course times when I wanted to give up, especially when my friends were going on holiday and I couldn't go. And there were times where I thought, oh, do you know what? Maybe I can just go on a cheeky little holiday. It's not going to cost that much. It will be fine. Maybe I'll pay off my debts 1 or 2 months later. But then I kept going back to my goals. Specifically, I went back to my net worth statement. And when I kept seeing that minus number and actually having a negative net worth, it really pushed me to accelerate my saving even further so that I could pay that debt off as soon as possible. So that's basically how I save over £1,000 a month. But what I thought would be good is if I actually talk to you about what I'm actually saving for. I mean, you might be interested, you might not, but I thought I'd share it with you guys anyway. So there are 3 things that I'm actually saving for, which will hopefully take me to the end of next year. The first thing is an emergency fund, which I basically have now. I did mention in my last video that I will probably do a video on that, but please do let me know if that might be of interest, because I do want to provide tips that are useful for you guys. So if you do want me to do a video on emergency funds, I will be covering things like how much should your emergency fund be? Should you have an emergency fund before you pay off your debt? And where do you actually keep it? So if you would like that video, then please do comment below. The second thing I'm currently saving for is my wedding. So hopefully I am going to be getting married next year. Guys, weddings are so expensive and it can be really tricky when you're trying to plan for a wedding, but you also want to invest as well. So that's something I'm going through at the moment. And the third thing is I am saving to invest. Now, I'm not going to talk about what I'm actually investing in this video, but I want you guys to comment below on what you think I'm actually going to be investing in, because it might surprise you. And if you would like to know, then make sure you do subscribe to my channel so that you can see future videos on what I'm actually going to be investing in. But that's it, guys. That is how I save over £1,000 a month. Those are the 3 things that I'm currently saving for. And I'm hoping that I can bring you on that journey and you can actually see my progress throughout the year. Once again, if you did like this video, then please do like it. I post every Friday. So if you would like to know more, then please do subscribe to my channel. And again, I will see you next Friday.